Imagine you are 10 years old, taken from your noisy and impoverished home, and dropped into a sprawling, wealthy estate. You are surrounded by cousins who have everything. They have fine clothes, excellent education, and boundless confidence. You, however, are constantly reminded of your lesser place. You are the poor relation. You are expected to be grateful, silent, and entirely accommodating. As you grow up, you watch from the shadows as romance, betrayal, and scandal unfold among the beautiful people around you. You alone see the truth of their characters, but no one asks for your opinion. How do you stay true to your own quiet strength when the whole world rewards loud charm and easy morals? Welcome to the world of Fanny Price. Hey readers! Busy life making it hard to finish books? I've got you covered. Before we start, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more. Let's dive into books in minutes. The story begins with a young girl named Fanny Price. Fanny comes from a poor family in Portsmouth with too many children and too little money. To ease her parents' burden, she is sent to live with her wealthy aunt and uncle, Lady Bertram and Sir Thomas, at their grand estate called Mansfield Park. When Fanny arrives, she is timid, homesick, and physically fragile. Her environment does not make things easier. Her Aunt Norris, another relative living nearby, constantly reminds Fanny of her lower status. Aunt Norris goes out of her way to spoil Fanny's wealthy cousins, Maria and Julia, while ensuring Fanny is denied basic comforts and respect. Among all the residents of Mansfield Park, only one person shows Fanny genuine kindness. This is her older cousin, Edmund. Edmund helps her write letters home, guides her reading, and protects her from the worst of Aunt Norris's bullying. Over the years, Fanny's deep gratitude toward Edmund slowly blossoms into a secret, unshakable love. The quiet rhythm of Mansfield Park is shattered when Sir Thomas must travel to Antigua to manage his plantations. In his absence, a glamorous brother and sister arrive from London. Their names are Henry and Mary Crawford. The Crawfords are wealthy, attractive, and incredibly charming. They bring the fast-paced energy of the city into the quiet country estate. However, they also bring a lack of strict moral grounding. Henry Crawford is a flirt who enjoys making women fall in love with him for his own amusement. He immediately begins to toy with both Maria and Julia. This is particularly scandalous because Maria is already engaged to a wealthy but dull man named Mr. Rushworth. Meanwhile, Mary Crawford sets her sights on Edmund. Edmund is completely captivated by Mary's wit and beauty. He becomes blind to her materialistic nature and her lack of true principles. Fanny, who observes everything from the sidelines, sees the Crawfords for exactly who they are. She watches in silent agony as the man she loves falls for a woman she knows is unworthy of him. The situation escalates when Sir Thomas's eldest son Tom returns home and suggests they put on a play. They choose a slightly scandalous play called Lover's Vows. In the world of Jane Austen, wealthy families turning their homes into public theatres was considered highly improper. It broke down boundaries of decorum. The rehearsals become an excuse for Henry and Maria to engage in heavy, inappropriate flirting. Mary and Edmund also use their roles to express romantic feelings for one another. Fanny is the only one who refuses to participate. She knows her uncle would fiercely disapprove. Just as things are getting out of hand, Sir Thomas returns unexpectedly from Antigua. He is furious. He burns the scripts, dismantles the stage, and restores strict order to his home. Shortly after, Maria marries Mr. Rushworth, despite clearly harboring feelings for Henry Crawford. She leaves for her honeymoon, taking Julia with her. With the other sisters gone, Henry Crawford suddenly notices Fanny. He decides it would be a fun game to make the quiet, serious Fanny fall in love with him. But his game backfires. As he spends time with her, he recognizes her genuine goodness and actually falls in love with her. To everyone's absolute shock, Henry proposes to Fanny. This leads to the central conflict of the book. Sir Thomas is thrilled. It is an incredibly wealthy match for a girl with no money of her own. But Fanny refuses. She knows Henry's true character. She saw how he treated her cousins, and she simply does not trust him. Furthermore, she still secretly loves Edmund. Sir Thomas is deeply angry. He accuses Fanny of being ungrateful and stubborn. To teach her a lesson about the harsh realities of poverty, he sends her back to her family in Portsmouth. He hopes a few months of noise, dirt, and scarcity will make her appreciate Henry Crawford's money. Portsmouth is a shock to Fanny. Her family is loud, her home is chaotic, and no one there really understands her. Yet Fanny's moral compass remains entirely unbroken. Even when Henry visits her in Portsmouth to prove his devotion, she remains polite but firm. She will not marry a man she does not respect. Then the true nature of the Crawfords is finally exposed to the world. Henry returns to London and runs into the newly married Maria. His old vanity flares up and he begins flirting with her again. This time it goes too far. Henry and Maria run away together, creating a devastating public scandal that destroys Maria's reputation and breaks her family's heart. Around the same time, Julia elopes with a foolish friend of her brother's. The news rocks Mansfield Park to its core. Edmund turns to Mary Crawford for comfort, expecting her to be as horrified by her brother's actions as he is. Instead, Mary reveals her true colors. She is not morally outraged by the adultery. She is only upset that they got caught. She suggests that if they simply cover it up and force Henry to marry Maria after a divorce, everyone can go back to normal. This is the moment the spell breaks for Edmund. He finally sees Mary's shallow, worldly nature. He leaves her forever, heartbroken but clear-headed. With his family in ruins, Sir Thomas realizes his terrible mistakes. He sees that his strictness and his emphasis on wealth over character ruined his own daughters. He finally recognizes that the quiet, unyielding integrity of his niece is the true treasure of the family. Fanny is brought back to Mansfield Park not as a poor relation, but as the moral anchor of the home. Over time, Edmund recovers from his heartbreak. He begins to see Fanny in a new light. He realizes that the woman he has always trusted and relied upon is the one he truly loves. The story concludes with Edmund and Fanny marrying, finding deep and lasting happiness built on a foundation of mutual respect, shared values, and unwavering integrity. Takeaways. The story leaves us with several powerful lessons. First, it teaches us the immense value of integrity over superficial charm. The Crawfords dazzle everyone with their wit and beauty, but they lack a moral center. When times get difficult, their charm is worthless. Fanny, on the other hand, is easily overlooked. Yet her quiet strength and unwavering principles make her the only reliable person in a crisis. In real life, it is easy to be swayed by charismatic, loud personalities. This book reminds us to look deeper and value consistency and honor over flashiness. Second, the book is a masterclass in the dangers of poor parenting and misplaced priorities. Sir Thomas and Aunt Norris raised Maria and Julia to care only about money, status, and appearances. When faced with real moral choices, the sisters fail completely. Fanny, who grew up with hardship and strict moral boundaries, succeeds. It is a powerful reminder that true character is built through discipline and reflection, not through indulgence. Finally, Mansfield Park shows us that true strength can be incredibly quiet. Fanny is often frightened, physically weak, and socially anxious. But when she is pressured by powerful people to compromise her values and marry Henry, she stands firm like a rock. You do not have to be loud or dominant to be incredibly strong. This book is highly beneficial for anyone who feels overlooked in a fast-paced world. It validates the quiet observer and proves that staying true to yourself, even when it is unpopular, is the ultimate victory. So what do you think about this book? Did its ideas resonate with you or challenge the way you see things? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear what you took away from it. And if there's a book you'd like me to cover next, drop that below as well. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time.